On a cold, rainy day, a man walked slowly down a small street. He wore a long brown coat and carried a big black umbrella. The rain fell softly. Drip, drip, drip. His name was Mr. Lee. Every day he walked through the town with his umbrella. People called him the Umbrella Man. But Mr. Lee was not sad or lonely. He loved rainy days. Rain makes the world quiet, he always said with a smile. One afternoon, the rain became very strong. The wind blew hard. People ran into shops and under roofs to stay dry. Near a bus stop, Mr. Lee saw a little girl. She stood alone in the rain. Her small bag was wet, and she looked worried. Mr. Lee walked to her kindly. "Hello," he said. "Why are you standing here alone?" The girl looked up. "I lost my mother," she said softly. Mr. Lee smiled gently. "Do not worry. You can share my umbrella." The girl stepped under the big umbrella. It was warm and dry inside. She smiled for the first time. As they walked together, Mr. Lee told funny stories about rainy days. "Once," he said, "my umbrella flew into a tree like a big black bird." The girl laughed loudly. Soon they saw a woman running down the street. "Anna!" the woman cried. "Mom!" the girl shouted happily. The mother thanked Mr. Lee again and again. "You helped my daughter in the rain," she said. Mr. Lee smiled and tipped his hat. "The umbrella is big enough for everyone," he said. Then he walked away slowly into the rainy street. Drip, drip, drip. From that day, whenever people saw the Umbrella Man, they smiled. Children waved at him. Shopkeepers greeted him warmly. And every rainy day, Mr. Lee carried his umbrella through the town, ready to help anyone who needed a little shelter from the rain. The next week, the rain came again. Dark clouds filled the sky, and the streets became wet and shiny. People opened their umbrellas and hurried home. Mr. Lee walked slowly through the town with his big black umbrella. Drip, drip, drip. As he passed the bakery, he smelled fresh bread and warm cakes. He smiled. But then he heard a small sound. Meow, meow. Mr. Lee stopped walking. Under a wooden bench, a tiny orange cat was shaking in the rain. Its fur was wet, and its little eyes looked scared. "Oh dear," Mr. Lee said softly. "You should not be alone in this weather." He carefully lifted the cat into his arms and held the umbrella over them both. The cat looked up at him and gave a tiny meow. Mr. Lee laughed gently. "You are a brave little fellow." He took the cat to a small coffee shop nearby. Inside, the shop was warm and bright. People sat by the windows drinking tea and coffee. The owner, Mrs. Brown, smiled when she saw him. "Mr. Lee, and who is this little guest?" she asked. "A rainy day traveler," Mr. Lee answered. Everyone in the shop laughed kindly. Mrs. Brown brought a small towel to dry the cat. Soon, the little cat looked warm and happy. A young boy sitting near the window suddenly stood up. "Sonny!" he shouted. The cat jumped from Mr. Lee's arms into the boy's lap. "My cat was missing since this morning," the boy said happily. "I looked everywhere." The boy hugged Sonny tightly. His father walked over and shook Mr. Lee's hand warmly. "Thank you," he said. "You saved our cat." Mr. Lee smiled again. "Rainy days are for helping," he said. Outside, the rain slowly became softer. Before leaving, the little boy gave Mr. Lee a tiny yellow flower from his pocket. For you, he said. Mr. Lee placed the flower carefully inside his coat. Then he opened his umbrella once more and stepped back into the rainy street. Drip, drip, drip. And somewhere behind him, a little orange cat purred happily in the warm coffee shop.